Modi is likely to visit Yad Vashem, which is the World Holocaust Remembrance Center. He will also meet with Israeli President Isaac Herzog on Thursday. PM Modi has returned to Israel after 9 years, after his last visit to Israel as Prime Minister back in 2017, before Netanyahu made a reciprocal visit to India in 2018. India and Israel established full diplomatic relations in 1992, and ties have since grown into a robust partnership, particularly in defense, agriculture, and high-tech sectors. Bilateral trade has expanded significantly in the recent years, reaching billions of dollars annually. PM Modi's visit has got entangled into Israel's domestic politics. Back in Israel, the opposition leader Yair Lapid has warned that they will boycott the parliamentary address unless the Supreme Court Chief Yitzhak Amit is invited, consistent with the established protocol. Though the Israeli opposition has insisted that the call is not for boycott, but the government is intentionally trying to force a bad situation upon them. Let's talk about U.S. President Donald Trump delivered his State of the Union address at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., 108 minutes. That's the longest State of the Union in American history, beating Bill Clinton's 2000 record of 1 hour and 20 minutes. Donald Trump defended his government on foreign policy, trade, and clashing with Democrats on issues ranging from the economy to immigration. The president outlined his priorities for the months ahead.
President of the United States. Thank you.
In his speech, Trump outlined his key priorities while emphasizing on what he called our gains in his second term.
July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America.
Trump stuck to his stern tone on Iran. He claimed that Tehran is rebuilding its nuclear program despite last year's American strikes. Trump said that Iran is developing missiles that could threaten Europe and eventually the United States. However, Iran's foreign ministry has vehemently denied his claim.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Trump also repeated his claim that he stopped 8 wars in the first year of his second term.
They ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? You're sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza.
Days after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down parts of his tariff policy, Donald Trump criticized the ruling from the floor of Congress.
And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
Trump included immigration in his speech as well. He defended his hardline border policies and accused Democrats of prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens.
To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American at elections that cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID.
There is a different kind of race for power unfolding in the US. On one side is Pentagon, on the other is artificial intelligence firm Anthropic. And the sticking points revolve around safeguards and restrictions for how AI is used. The Pentagon has issued a sharp ultimatum to AI firm Anthropic, warning of possible legal and contractual action if the company does not ease restrictions on military use of its models. The standoff follows a high-level meeting between CEO Dario Amodei and the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth as Washington pushes to deploy advanced AI across classified networks. The meeting at the Pentagon was called to resolve a months-long dispute over how Anthropic's AI can be used by the U.S. military. According to a Reuters report, the Defense Secretary told Anthropic to get on board or face being labeled a supply chain risk or have the Defense Production Act invoked to force a policy change. Officials warned the government could invoke the Defense Production Act to force the company to change its usage policies. The Pentagon has given Anthropic a deadline of Friday this week till 5 p.m. to respond. The dispute, remember, centers on Anthropic's refusal to remove safeguards that block its AI from being used for autonomous weapons targeting and for U.S. domestic surveillance. Until recently, Anthropic was the only large language model operating on classified networks. This week, the Defense Department struck a deal with xAI and plans to move more AI providers onto secure systems. During the talks, Dario Amodei said the company had not raised concerns with the Pentagon or Palantir and that its current safety guardrails would not affect existing defense operations. Anthropic says discussions are continuing in good faith and that it wants to support national security within responsible limits. Meanwhile, the U.S. Defense Department has reached a deal to deploy Elon Musk's Grok on classified systems, a shift that could end Anthropic's exclusive role in sensitive military AI tasks. Let me go across to Susan Tehrani, our correspondent, who is joining us from New York, and get us a sense of what has been happening between the two sides. Susan, this has been an ongoing tussle between the Department of War and Anthropic. Any word from Anthropic yet on how it plans to respond by the deadline that it has been given by the Trump administration?
Well, yeah, Anthropic is in a very peculiar situation because there is a threat of canceling a $200 million contract with the Pentagon on the one hand, and on the other hand, Anthropic says that it supports national security concerns and the work that the Pentagon is doing. They just haven't been clear on how much surveillance is going to be taking place once this deal is reached and once they agree. And they're saying that they don't want mass surveillance. They want fully autonomous weapon systems. And he keeps saying that the CEO keeps saying that we need more guardrails. Who's going to be controlling the guardrails when we do decide to expand this into the Pentagon? And he's very concerned about ethical boundaries that will be in place, because at the end of the day, ultimately, what they do with the Pentagon is going to affect how regular users see Claude or Anthropic moving forward. So a very peculiar situation that it's in right now.
Have to wait and see how Anthropic now responds, Susan. As far as the Trump administration is concerned, how are they planning to take this forward? Because Anthropic seems to not budge from its original position of not dropping its safeguards as far as military use and surveillance is concerned.
Yeah, that's the thing, that they're threatening on the one hand to cancel a $200 million Pentagon contract. And they also are threatening to label the company as a quote unquote supply chain risk, which could not only hurt further federal work for Claude and Anthropic, but also they could ultimately use the Defense Production Act regarding access. So, basically forcing their hands to go along with this. But we have to see how long and to what extent realistically Anthropic, notably the Claude, can hold out.
That's right, Susan. And of course, now they've got competition from Elon Musk's Grok as well, with the Trump administration taking them in for the very same purpose. But thanks very much, Susan, for joining us at the moment and getting us the details. Moving on, Hungary is heading for elections this April. The country's longtime Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, is seeking yet another term. He's launched an aggressive anti-Ukraine campaign. Orban, remember, is accusing what he calls a Kiev-Brussels axis of trying to drag Hungary into the war. Viktor Orban's ruling party has unleashed a poster campaign. Billboards featuring AI-generated images of Ukrainian President Zelensky seeking more money are going up across the country. Orban claims Kiev is seeking Hungary's money to prolong a conflict that has already killed tens of thousands. For years, Orban has sought to slow or block European Union financial and military support for Ukraine. He's argued against sanctions on Russia and criticized efforts to target Moscow's energy revenues. This, remember, comes at a time when Viktor Orban is facing the most serious electoral challenge since returning to office in 2010. Though American President Donald Trump has endorsed him for the upcoming elections, years of economic stagnation, strained social services, and political scandals have eroded support for his right-wing Fidesz party. Challenging Orban for the office of Prime Minister is opposition candidate Peter Magyar. He's promising to restore Hungary's Western orientation and democratic institutions. Ahead of the elections, Orban is positioning himself as the defender of Hungarian sovereignty against Brussels and Kiev. Well, we're slipping into a short break. On the other side of the break, we get you more from Nepal that is heading into election in a week. The country's old political elite is vying for a comeback. We're also, of course, getting you more from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Israel and, of course, his address at the Knesset. Stay tuned.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The scandal surrounding sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has now widened. Britain's government has agreed to release official documents about former Prince Andrew and his past role as a trade envoy after a veteran UK politician linked to the case was arrested. The release of millions of files last month by US authorities linked to Epstein led to a significant fallout in the monarchy as well as in the political circles. Meanwhile, pressure is mounting on Prime Minister Keir Starmer to publish documents related to Andrew and former UK Ambassador Peter Mandelson, both of whom are under police scrutiny. UK Minister Chris Bryant told the Parliament that the government will release vetting files on Andrew's appointment as a trade envoy after pressure from the Liberal Democrats. The Democrats and survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring held a press conference in Washington ahead of Trump's State of the Union address. They urged the Justice Department to release the remaining case records immediately and pursue further investigations, with some even accusing the DOJ of a cover-up and demanding answers.
But for 3 months, Trump's Justice Department has broken the law, blacking out page after page. This is their version of releasing the files. That's it. That's all they do. See it? Shame is right. This is not transparency. It's a cover-up.
Today, the world will see Donald Trump have to face these survivors right there in the House gallery and answer for why ambassadors and princes have been arrested in other countries, but here in America, not a single investigation has been announced into the pedophiles and the predators of Epstein's horrific sex trafficking ring.
Not just lawmakers, many survivors demanded the disclosure of the full files as well. Opposition Democrats invited several of them who accuse Epstein of being an offender to attend Trump's State of the Union address.
For more than 30 years, survivors have pushed, fought, testified, and organized to bring attention to the crimes of Epstein and his associates. Trauma does not operate on a legislative timeline. Justice delayed by law is justice denied by design.
Trump and his administration have been facing fierce criticism from both the Democrats as well as the Republicans over their handling of the Epstein case, and delays in the process despite the law requiring that all the documents be made public by the 19th of December. In a week's time, Nepal will hold the first elections post the Gen Z-led uprising, 5 months after the US youth-led protest, that forced KP Sharma Oli to resign as the Prime Minister. The battle has shifted to the ballot. The contest is between the old guards of politics and the emerging youth leaders. Rapper-turned-politician and former Kathmandu Mayor Balendra Shah is riding on the Gen Z wave. Balendra is challenging the country's existing political elite, which is trying to restore its legacy amid growing distrust. According to political experts, Balendra Shah is the front-runner to become the next Prime Minister. Former Kathmandu Mayor was the first mainstream politician in Nepal who vocally backed last year's uprising. When KP Sharma Oli resigned, Balendra Shah wrote on his social media account, "Dear Gen Z, the resignation of your killer has come." Balendra Shah is banking on his social media popularity for his campaign outreach. He has over 3 million followers across various social media platforms. This is significant in a country that has a total population of around 30 million. Balendra Shah has surely seized the momentum created by the youth movement, but the road to power remains tough for the 35-year-old rapper-turned-politician. He is contesting elections against former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli from the Jaffa 5 constituency. This is the stronghold of Oli. He has won from this seat 6 out of 7 times since 1991. The Jaffa 5 seat will determine the political fate of Balendra Shah, as a loss will effectively end his prime ministerial ambition for 2026. Peru's interim president has appointed a new government just ahead of the April presidential election. Jose Maria Balcazar has named Denise Morales as the country's new prime minister. The decision caught many off guard, as president earlier signaled that the former presidential candidate, Hernando de Soto, would be the country's next prime minister. Hours before Morales was appointed, de Soto himself said that he would take the post. 49-year-old Morales has previously served as the economy minister under the ousted president Jose Gerri. He will lead a cabinet that includes 6 other ministers retained from the previous government. Balcazar's mandate is temporary. He will govern until the 28th of July, when power is handed to the winner of the 12th April general election. A record 36 presidential candidates are vying for the top job. Over the next 6 days, they will participate in a series of televised debates where they will present their policy proposals for Peru. Peru, remember, has experienced chronic political turmoil since 2016. In just a decade, the country has seen 8 heads of state. More than 27 million voters are eligible to cast their ballot on the 12th of April. If no presidential candidate secures more than 50% of the vote, the top 2 finishers will face off in a runoff election in June. Let's also take you across to more visuals that have come in from Israel. Remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Israel. He was welcomed earlier by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife Sarah at the airport in Tel Aviv. Then the leaders traveled to Jerusalem, where in a short while from now, in fact, any time from now, the Indian Prime Minister will be addressing the Israeli Parliament, or the Knesset, as it is known as, extremely historic and significant for very many reasons. The fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first Indian Prime Minister to actually address the Israeli Parliament makes it a historic moment for India, as well as the relationship between India and Israel. This is, remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's second visit to Israel. He had traveled to Israel back in 2017, and in the next year, in 2018, the Israeli Prime Minister had made a reciprocal visit. During that time, the two countries had deepened their cooperation in defense, technology, as well as agriculture. And this time around as well, the two countries are looking to cement this relationship and make it a special strategic partnership. Well, we'll keep getting you the latest from Israel and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address at Knesset. For now, it's a wrap on this edition of Race to Power. But as always, we'll keep getting you updates from around the world. Thank you very much for joining us at the moment. Bye-bye.
In West Asia, every move shifts the world's balance. Wars, ceasefires, alliances, power never stands still. From Tehran to Tel Aviv, from Damascus to Doha, the West Asia Post cuts through the chaos to reveal the region that shapes the world. Because what happens in West Asia never stays in West Asia. This is the West Asia Post, the region's story, the world's impact.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Beyond the noise and rhetoric, no election, no ballot issue too small. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. More than just headlines. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION. World is one.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is One. Where darkness hides behind every corner.